Oh, sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you.
Truly a lot of legwork. My partner adores these kinds of things.
Here, I want to give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie. Mexican origin. The pin is an antique. Quite special.
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of an avian skull, with 8 eyes. You could ask her about this when you get the time. It's probably a cryptid, but the phasmid, of course, is more important.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings.
Ramblings? Nonsense. Your description of the phasmid is the most precise I've ever heard.
But, darling, I didn't even get the size of it right.
Measuring things is important. How did she get the size?
You were a child, my dear. Really. It's extraordinary what you were able to describe. Now go on. Tell our friend about it. He's proven his interest in the field.
That is a way bigger compliment than it sounds like. Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. When, all of a sudden... I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5 and a half in Betancourt in the suburbs. My grandmother had a summer home there.
Betancourt got bombed in the war. It used to be quite near, circa 20 kilometers from here.
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. It stood up and looked at me. Its body unfolded like some antique toy. I've never seen anything like it. I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. After a while, 20 seconds, a minute maybe, it left, went into the reeds. I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just standing there knee-deep in mud, looking around me. I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, she just laughed at me, but I knew what I'd seen. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys. That sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a strange, amusing anecdote. So did I, honestly. But then I met Morel.
We were on a date. Can you imagine? She tells me a story, and it's the most detailed report of the Insulindian phasmid I've ever heard. The sounds. She told me it hissed.
So that's how they met. This is beyond significant for them.
It did, yes. Like reeds in a gust of wind.
The way it moved, the colour, how some of its limbs were white, like marble. It matched perfectly with what I know from other accounts. It was amazing. If it weren't for Lena, I might have given up hope years ago. It's no exaggeration to say that she restored my faith in my profession.
It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I was then, but that's probably not the case.
What if it is the case?
I thought it was a wonderful story, ma'am.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just such an impossibly sunshiny day. So warm.
I couldn't possibly shower thanks on you as enthusiastically as my wife has, but I am grateful for your assistance, officer.
He tries to play it cool, remain professorial, but inside, this man is itching for some news on those traps.
Good. Okay. And? Completely empty?
No locusts? No phasmid either?
That's not ideal, but...
It just means the Insulindian phasmid is even more clever than we thought.
She's engaging in a well-known self-deception called motivated reasoning. You should correct them.
Of course, more clever.
You're dealing with a subject near and dear to their hearts. It might behoove you to tread lightly.
Yes, the Phantasmadeia picked off the locusts and escaped. This is good news, though we'll have to reconsider the design of the traps, make them more secure.
Another trip to the reeds.
Of course. Be sarcastic. Unless you have an alternative hypothesis you'd like to venture, mine stands, okay? Actually, no. Excuse me for getting emotional. This is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now, and brought some great news too. My gratitude, and the gratitude of the Société Cryptozoologique de Ravachol, is yours.
Heartfelt gratitude. But does it feel like closure? What?
Thank you, it's an honor. We should probably return to our main investigation here. This has been refreshing, but...
Damn it, Lieutenant. Have you no intellectual curiosity? Consider the way the empty trap was disturbed, as though shaken. Most likely the hands of a young person. Hands small enough to fit inside the trap, too. You should ask the red-headed boy, Kuno.
A little hooligan. But what would a child want with bags?
Oh, my dear Morel. You've been an old man for too long. Kids love to torment insects almost as much as they love to torment old folks.
Delinquents, my favorite.
Oh, you've been such a dear to us. Please, let us know whatever you turn up. I have a feeling we're getting so close.
Well, I see you've got all the help you need. I'll see you tonight at my place. Let's play suzerainty, but no more field trips for me.
After this is your last chance to talk to Gary.
Really, Gary? We're getting somewhere here. I'd love to play suzerainty, but
Lena, I'm sorry, but you're not getting anywhere. It was some kids. I know the little mutants around here. Leave anything out in the open and they'll steal it, even if it's bugs. Morel, it's been fun, really, but I need a bath and I have deliveries to handle. When this tea is done, I gotta run.
No need to apologise, Geary. You've been more than helpful. We'll have to take a rain check on that game of suzerainty today, though. We're gonna follow this through.
Kuno saw you wield that can. Sweet graffito action, pig. Kuno likes that delinquent shit. Fuck no! Ah, shit! Shoot that shit at Kuno, pig o' naught. No, Kuno doesn't give a fuck about bugs.
So he knows locusts are bugs.
Oh my god, I told you that shit is lame!
Shut up, see.
Now they're gonna take you to lame prison! Deny everything, Kuno. You need to lawyer up.
Kuno's not gonna say anything without his lawyer present. Kuno doesn't fucking care.
I'll die before I squeal, pig. Murder was the case they gave me. I'll die before I squeal, pig. What's this kid shit? Fucking mind games. I'd rather die than squeal.
Get the fuck out of here, face. You got done. Talk to me.
I'll die before I squeal, pig. You don't want to fuck with me. I got my hands bloody. I'm not here, pig. You're not seeing this.
You can still see the top of her hat from behind the fence.
Fuck does Kuno care? Yeah, the kingdom of Kuno. Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. The fuck do you want with it? Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno. Kuno doesn't fuck. Fuck does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't...
The trash container The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows. The method, a box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta. You see, you've done this before. The movements are recorded. No, a box falls into pieces in your hands. The container sounds a muffled gong.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
What's it to you? No.
Every once in a while, it's like you can see glimpses of another guy.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd job. Worked at...
Pretty okay as far as lies go.
Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. When a bunch of beats me.
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His shirt is far too small and an unpleasant. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what.
Honest men, we came here. You think they follow because We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gates.
The physically impressive man tower has turned his attention back to the gates. He ignores your presence. scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid better not tie the forestay to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the forestay to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. That's the man who was killed. Better not tie the forestay to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. A youth centre with Edgar Clare's statue on top of it. Go ahead. Help him. Make it so. First, there won't be a youth... fishery. I've been... Sadly, it's just one of the... Yes. I'm sad I'll never have the time, Detective. I've always wanted a dilapidating fishing village.
She is more defensive about it.
Full of ghosts and ancient memories. Has this errand yielded you any... information? Of course, Detective. You can always drop by later, should something come up. Now, what else can I do for you? That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the... Better not tie the forestay to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't really matter, and I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this.
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout, most likely. That would give them a read on the entire quarter.
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation?
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I am sure you understand.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands. Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail. They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor. Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants. My only hope is that yours provides a single, concrete suspect before they indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
These men work in tandem, as I said. A bloodbath. Many bleak scenarios. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil... Not much. They boast a long list of clients.
Meaning they're used to operating in war.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors. Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands. Countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil. I wouldn't go as far as to use that term, detective.
It's the expression she objects to.
Yes.
She picked a strange hill to die on. Strike. She's silent.
What is the purpose of this, detective?
Paramilitary death squad is a bit rich. But yes, sadly, no. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell. I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. The remaining contractors. Their tribunal. It's what they believe. That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
This does not come as news to us, but still. To your knowledge, where did this assault take place, if you know?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. Good. Then you've made progress. It's imperative that you move fast. The tribunal will not be patient. If you mean Lely. One is a man, Corty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased's?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
The lieutenant was testing her.
That's all right, man. Anything else? No.
He was 40.
This matches the dental record.
In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. They've gone to ground, as it were. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol city. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that...
One is obviously the scab. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
That may be so.
For all your talk...
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is...
That would afford a good vantage point.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. I hope I can answer it better. Until the executions start?
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. It's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is... Of course.
For about half a minute, in silence, she wears fingerless gloves. Her fingernails are cut short and fractured, like those of a working woman.
It was taken with a Interrogate not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent. Port cities. On the oceans. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Delorian century. As early as 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. His platoon members? The other contractors, though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade. Do what you have to do, Detective Dubois. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security, but if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, ma'am.
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it. Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this. Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde.
at the dawn of the Inter-Eastlery Age.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor. And these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
In Martinez looking into Krenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
Don't think so.
Wordless, he takes the photo and looks at it. Grey eyes dart back and forth on the glossy surface. His face is unmoving, hard as a stone, but beneath it...
Fucking loincloths. Really did him in. Yeah. What it means.
In what must have been Seminine.
I can tell you what this one means. Only one. You want to hear what happened here? Our colonel is deep in the bush here. Deep in the fucking bush. In Benital, 41. Monsoon season. He's on a reconnaissance mission.
Benital is one of the inhabited islands of the Seminese archipelago near the Pale. Covered in jungle, it was anchor point for the Seminese nationalists in the proxy war held on the islanders' territory.
He spent a month behind enemy lines, scouting kept villages. Nothing but fucking bugs and snakes for fun. Men are getting restless. There's talk of switching employers.
With some strange emotion, this is about to get really graphic.
Our boy, he's only a captain then, but he knows how these men think. If they don't see action soon... At dawn, he comes upon two kids, breeding in the bushes by the river. Or maybe they weren't breeding. Maybe we shot the boy. He was useless, but the girl, she was nice. A little fat, you know, but not too old. She was quite the entertainment for the week she lasted, expired in the hands of Sarge Mason. The kind of guy who'd make Chief there shit his pants and cry like a bitch. God, Mason couldn't let go. Cut the tits off her cold body and fucking ate them. Drowned in a creek a week later. Spirits my ass. No, I was in the Domain, in Jamrock, being a bouncer. Fucking mask is getting sweaty. I want to take my mask off. But... go ahead.
All right now. Free commerce! Keep the goods flowing!
On the photo in your hands, the dead man's skin is studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them, littering his dead skin.
Free flow of commerce!
Fucking bug.
You hear a tiny rattle, a small radio, cracking somewhere. An earpiece. I'm going to interpret that as a yes. There's a tribunal, and it won't be long until it's ready.
How about you fuck off now, huh?
Okay, of course.
The man's breathing steadies.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
The file cabinet stands steady as ever. The drawer slides.
Welcome back, gentlemen. What can I do for you? Traveling. By the way, let me now ask you a question. Where are we exactly? Oh, interesting. I've made quite a few real estate plays over the years. It's a shame I can't get out and explore myself. One of the downsides of being an extremely high net worth individual is that mobs of low net worth individuals are there simply aren't enough hours a day to hand out all the handouts. It's like feeding seagulls. They're spending money is a matter of smart, luxury yachts, high fidelity portable radio systems. Bill, don't get near.
He speaks from the heart.
What? No, I did not say that at all. Being rich is great. Just don't tell anyone I told you that.
Oh Lord, not this again. We have a murder to solve, and yet it...
All I did...
Actually, at the level this guy is, it takes...
Go right ahead. It was a farewell, friend.
She doesn't seem to be lying. She's genuinely spooked by their disappearance.
They couldn't know where I put it. I'm absolutely sure I was not followed. And I've told no one but you. You mentioned seawater? I was worried I'd been too careless with the latch. The documents were probably just washed away.
Yes, miss. I hope you don't mind.
Inoran.
This
means his raise was accidental, which fits the statements of another witness.
Her eyes follow yours on the piece of paper.
Yes. Pardon.
He had a combat.
Yes.
Ah, yes.
It was light brown, almost blonde.
The young woman nods.
All right.
Coolly, gracefully, she pours herself more coffee.
Sure. The record. So official. Okay. I did. After that, I sort of... it's not nice.
What exactly?
Industrial with a bigger...
I need the name.
The job was Lou's doing. Asked her who...
Lowe's cap. These people engineer financial disasters in second world countries. The conglomerate also includes the Bank of Consecration.
I am. A lot of people got hurt. But that's just more of... We were there. Okay. I turned back.
Her chest...
I knew he was dead. Before he... No.
It's okay.
He was heavy. I waited for...
She's forgotten about her cigarette. The butt has burned right down to her fingernails.
Sure.
What time was it?
11:30 to...
It's okay.
Not as much as usual. He...
Did you hear?
No. Nothing. He was still on the floor. Slouched. Sylvie was... Ruby was there too. Well, she said she'd take...
To mislead.
To produce lividity.
Yes.
We complete...
About 20, yes.
She blinks without averting her gaze.
Ruby went outside. It took Ruby maybe half an hour to come. Ruby said to wait. I don't know.
We will need to take...
Interesting. Why did this Ruby go?
When he was shot.
The gunshot wasn't that loud. This is something...
What? He wouldn't have...
It could have been... He was a serviceman. He must have had a gun.
Like what? That's the first thing that... I thought they'd... So they wouldn't be hurt. I've come to understand, however, this is paranoia. I just don't.
We can't go.
I don't ask you to, Lieutenant. There's one. That's the first thing that I thought so they wouldn't be hurt. Or.
We can't go after.
I don't ask you to, Lieutenant. If there's one thing I know, it's that you'll get nothing from there. Last week, Angus and Titus's brother, I think he's called.
She nods, silently, then picks up the cold coffee and holds it in. She looks at chipped
Pretty. Looks like a dried Maybell. Is that...
or an admirer? She watches you pocket the petals, then closes her eyes.
Officer, it's a fine day for lies.
Yes, we demand she be punished for deceiving us. We demand her anxiety. We demand her fear. She slowly lights another cigarette and steadies her breath, as if in the presence of some tiger.
Yes, miss. I hope you don't mind.
Inoranie.
Leilstad.
This means his race was occidental, which fits the statements of another witness.
Yes.
Did that bring...
No.
No love for Muta Aranye? The young woman is smiling, still, about their bad habits.
He was 42.
42?
He had many... We even celebrated his birth.
Looks like you were right, officer.
Points are good. Have one, you old. The young woman looks at you, then the lieutenant, then...
Yes. Pardon the swearing.
He had a combat...
Yes.
Ah, yes.
It was light brown, almost blonde. He darkened it with brilliantine, made it oily. Not nice to stroke. I couldn't convince him to leave it alone.
The young woman nods.
A real rain. How much does the...
It's quite expensive, miss. But we'll manage without your help for now. All right.
Coolly, gracefully, she pours herself more coffee.
Yeah? Thank you.
Technically, no, don't listen to the stiff. Be cool.
With money.
The anti-star is, or was, a Vespertine rock and roll star who liked to do drugs. He did so many drugs, he eventually...
Oh, yes. Like not being able to stay up for 36 hours. Not being happy. Huh? Motherfucker took my Preptide? Looks like you owe me one off.
This does not amount to actual corruption.
It's hard to tell if she means it in earnest or as a joke.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. A peephole?
Yes, looking into your bedroom, miss.
Okay.
A jitter of fear and disgust moves through her body, beginning from her shoulders and ending in her hips. The cigarette tastes foul to her now.
Do you think this is somehow related to Ruby passing through there? Okay. Do you have any way of knowing how long it has been there?
Unfortunately, no. But if I were to guess, long enough. The perforation is under the bookshelf on...
It's very hard to believe that she'd do something like that, but... No, I don't know. I just don't know about this, officer. She could have. Maybe she did. Or maybe it's been there for a long time. The local kids use it or something. Was there anything else back there? A peephole?
Yes.
A jitter of fear.
Do you think this is... Okay.
Unfortunately, no. But
No, it's okay. Was there anything more? Okay. I'm glad some...
All right.
Yes? What do you want to know? You mean like a brief? Do you want me to brief you again? There's no reason. 3 days ago, during that time, the victim had been stripped. Okay then. Was there anything else you wanted to know? Good. What about me? That's correct.
You feel a slight urge.
I guess you don't need glass. That's because I'm half Saolite. It's a part of...
Sail is
I can see your...
a point of pride to him.
No.
Your brain sends the signal to your lips, but they refuse the order. So it's like you're locked.
Something the matter, detective?
What's going on? The lieutenant relaxes his eyebrow, and you seem to regain control of yourself.
What do you mean? I have no idea.
The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary.
What?
The lieutenant, we all have our different mediums.
Good. Let's change the subject. What do you want to know? Good.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair. The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course. I already knew this. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a future and proven to be a true man of the left. I can finally trust you now. You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun, nothing is off the table.
Hear that? You did it the honest way. You got the real signatures, and now he's happy. Well done. I don't know. Your dirty forgery fingers aren't sure if playing this one straight was the right thing to do. We would have preferred trickery, but the choice was yours, sire. As always. You are the liege, and you're in.
Harry, by now you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, if the construction noise and limited street access makes some people consider moving, well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant uptick in quality of life. I'm talking real affordable workers' palaces.
He proudly spreads his hands to demonstrate the size of the palaces. They're very large.
So the village is doomed.
You were there, you saw the place. A wasteland. There's nothing left. But mark my words, officers. We are going to reset it. Reset. I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal buildings and commerce. Harry, imagine a youth centre supermarket church complex, employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with enterprise and life. All those ruins out there turned into low-income housing. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on. I accept your salute, Harry. All of it is true. I've got the centre, I've got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years I'll get the church too. The wheels are turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. It cannot go on. I'm not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, workers on welfare, and landowners in Azon hating me. That will be my statue. And yours. We're doing this together. Oh, I do, Harry. I really do. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as Joyce Messier with that boat of yours. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace. Order it. You know my men didn't kill him. They told you. It was a happy accident. You know how it is. No one takes the initiative. If I wanted him dead, I would have had to do it myself. And I'm too fat for that. Glad you asked. I've got type 2 diabetes because sugar and fat was all my mother had to give me and my brother Edgar when we were kids. Good job too, as it made me ugly. And ugly people, Harry, are much better at politics.
That is true. People don't trust pretty people.
Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war. Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1, and that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste. Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that. We're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're going to take all of it for the people, and fuck Wild Pines.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He doesn't swear often.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her arsehole. She has no chance. Tits from her arsehole. It's a local saying.
Actually, no, it's not.
Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. We have a significant head start. It's already happening. No idea. Could have been his own mother for all I know. If you ever find the guy, give him a big fat kiss from Everard Clare. Couldn't have done it without him.
He really doesn't know.
I don't. I told you it could have been his own mother. I'm pretty sure it wasn't anyone from the Union. Maybe it was the mob. Or maybe he killed himself because he was a closet socialist. Truth is, I simply don't know.
He really doesn't.
$2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
2,373 is a sizable contingent for a labor organization in Revachol.
Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients will ditch us. Harry, we've thought of everything.
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate over a local mobster any day.
We've been running back channel negotiations with all the major clients. I think the company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez and to the new competitive contracts we can offer. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bold, exotic new revenue streams.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical chemical factories on the Samaran Isola. You don't need to be colonialist about it. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities. The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. The Debarders Union, however, we're all about the large volume column. We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his Benefed and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off risperidone.
Benefed is a children's cold medicine, usually apricot flavored, and risperidone is used to treat severe psychosis.
And the kids on the street can get speed and pyrrolidone.
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the things you just mentioned. But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the Union took a fantastic share, and I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez.
He's basically admitting to it.
Harry, if I was supplying raw materials to drug manufacturers, I would need an army of rubies.
Understood.
You know why you're such a good detective, Harry. You don't get sidetracked. You care about the people you're supposed to protect, not some systems that may or may not be unethical. Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbor's turnover, just like the harbor is, but a small part of Martinez. Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. Young mothers who want to start businesses. Models who want to walk catwalks and steel welders who want to weld steel. I'm gonna unite them all into one economic body. We're gonna incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's gonna be in on the wealth, and everyone's gonna pull their weight. Thank you, Harry, thank you. You have no idea how much it means to me, because in many ways, you are that working man. You have already done so much work. We're way past specific union members now. This is the big time. We're talking about the future of Revachol here, Harry. You can bother Leonard with that. He loves to run his mouth on such matters. But I'm in big-time mode, Harry.
There's something different about him now. He's more vibrant, more alive in his big-time mode.
Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me, but it had to be done. An old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, word on the street is she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy, the one he described as terrifying.
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Wild. Anyway...
Union Boy's gonna help you fix it. He winks at you. Don't worry, Harry.
The neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debarders Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building. Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
There it is again. The Pigs. Like Roy said, not good at all.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast, the one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
She will be there from 2200 hours till 0200 hours.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We have united the RCM and the Debarders Union. This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open. I'm always happy to educate and entertain you, my friend. So, what's on your mind? Very nice, Harry. Is there anything else?
hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement of my apartment building. They can only get so far before they're aching to get back. And lots of folk really did keep coming back. No trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. It's like that old saying goes. Wisdom. Mr. Evrat doesn't really want me to talk to people about union guys. But who do you... Mr. Edgar is Mr. Evrat's brother. He looks a bit younger, he does. But a very smart fellow. Very smart fellow indeed. He's away on some union business. Not even in Revershaw, they say. All kinds of places he visits. Him and his brother both do when they're on a vacation. Right now, it's Mr. Everett's turn to look after the union. But last year he spent a whole winter in South Safra. Left with the first autumn rains and didn't come back.
South Safra? A lot of bulk chemical manufacturing going on there.
Mister. I knew you'd be back. No trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. It's like that old saying goes. Wisdom withers if not shared. And old Leo is always up for sharing. Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. No trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. It's like that old saying goes. Wisdom withers if not... Mr. Evrat doesn't really want me to talk to people about union guys. But who did you want to talk about? He's a union... Honestly...
Oil for the wheels.
Whoa, once he said he's a dragon. Who do you mean, mister? I don't know anyone like this. Oh...
He's probably one of those rare specimens who are born when two drunk seamen...
I'd best not. The night guard. We talked up. They lived on the same street their entire lives. Even dated the same girl on... Mr. Martin, yes. Don't really remember much about him. I was just a boy back. Sure.
Looking for something?
Yes?
The bear's eyes are still glowing red, watching over all a friendly the paper still smells of.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die? Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
Aside from getting naked,
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a...
a gust of cold air sweeps through the chimney. The stones and minerals on the shelves rattle as though agitated. For a moment, it almost feels as though you're outside the building, exposed to the atmosphere.
Didn't we already talk about this? What are you talking about? My address is exactly the same. Rue de Saint-Guilain 10.
No, the old coal plant that used to be here was subsumed into the new venture, its ruins swallowed up. Yet it has a different address in the heart of the city.
This doesn't make any sense. Are you saying my business was spared because of a technicality? Where is this coming from? And what? Does it mean that I'm safe from failure?
She starts laughing, her fingers trying to rub away the exhaustion from her face.
Do you know what this is? It's a mourning ring. I made this when my first company failed. It was a small jewelry shop right here in the East Delta Commerce Center, built with the little I inherited from my parents. I drove it into the ground within a year. I didn't have what you would call a viable business plan. No, you're right. I didn't. It wasn't just the jewelry shop either. I always thought that it was just the world, you were supposed to try again and again until you finally succeed. And now you're telling me what? That it was all because I didn't run my little shops and ventures from a dump inside an abandoned chimney? Yeah. Or maybe it's the entire world that's cursed. It's such a precarious place. Nothing ever works out the way you want it. That's why people like role-playing games. You can be whoever you want to be, you can try again. Still, there is something inherently violent even about dice rolls. It's like every time you cast a die, something disappears. Some alternative ending or an entirely different world. But anyway, thanks for sharing your theories, officer.
The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime. Okay, but please, only a few questions. You wouldn't want to disturb the spirits. Yes, the Simonees are very It must be these very spells and...
The woman before you
Hello again, sir.
You failed to deduce anything substantial.
Hello again, sir.
You failed to deduce.
Hello again, sir.
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium has you slouched. Yes, and it's critical. You need to get so magged up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke. Yes, if you want to live, you need to.
Hello again, sir. Hello again, sir.
The girl keeps her hands folded.
What do you mean, sir?
She looks around. The lieutenant stands. She brings out.
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded? Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
She actually is impressed. This is more like a defensive reflex. She nods, half provocative, half.
Maybe so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit, and I shouldn't. It was okay, sir.
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
You're quite sober.
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not.
Because you usually aren't. Fritz, maybe? Alcohol is not good for you, sir.
There she stands, sway. There's something you're missing. Because you know each other. She's been talking to you, so...
Yes, you've been running around. Of course, you've stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you. Yeah, but you don't have party eyes anymore.
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That
I'm not surprised.
You know, like...
The swiveling... Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you, boy. Oh, baby, that's not what you have to worry about. Worry about the important thing.
I didn't know I had to do that. I'm glad I could help you, sir.
Hello again, officers. Have you come?
Give me a moment.
In your hands, you hold 16 Days of Coldest April by Yekaterina Dar. The cover image shows a row of concrete apartments above which span a black and white rainbow. Indeed, the book is unusually heavy in your hands, as though the cover were lined with lead. You flip through the book. The pages are thinner than you realized, and the type quite small and tightly set. It's nearly 600 pages long. Real art is dense and difficult. If it didn't feel like you had to wrestle a suicidal bear to get through it, you weren't really reading. The back cover is dominated by she can't be much older. In cold, the Yugo as ethnic tent, it would physically hurt you. They go through a brief. He toils through the daily drudgery, and she spends the memory of their short as life leaves their remains between. The aging alcoholic is still there, breathing. The air in the room is stale.
I'm afraid it is.
And look, next a groan rises.
Well,
the lieutenant's right.
I think this man won't be feeding his...
A pair of half-open bug eyes.
Look, he's trying to communicate.
Silence. Only heat emanates from the sleeping body.
What is there to do? We could take him to Remedy or something, but they don't do...
Years. The pile of blankets grunts miserably. This door is made of metal. No one answers.
Let's go. There's nothing to do here.
I like playing in the dark. Sharpens your nocturnal instincts. Feels like being on recon again. I prefer the old name, Insulindian Lily. Girls brought them to young cadets when they entered service. It used to be, you know what?
He stood up.
But enough!
Maybells don't.
Maybe on some remote parts of the city there's nothing for you to understand here. It is not her death you are investigating. I was 20.
The IQ.
I won her.
You were like.
Those days.
The old soldier says nothing, but when his
It is such a pleasure to see you again. Sweet, sweet Jenny. Of course, officer. Let me think. No.
Then help.
He means.
I wish.
Odd. He doesn't seem to be lying.
I'm not.
Of course he's.
Can I at least finish my fucking sentence before you piss on it? Oh, in many. Oh, yes. Not in the.
So that he doesn't.
Of course he's not a. I hate this socialist rap.
Everyone.
What the.
The old There he stands, proud, rigid and alone, like a cracking marble statue.
Let's try not to get caught in a crossfire.
Lest we leave riddled with bullet holes. This
writing work mostly. Oh, no.
Well, he tells his little pen man exactly what to say. It's commie propaganda, plain and simple. You should be ashamed of yourself.
On the Union track, I don't even consider myself a officer.
He?
Of course. Don't think.
I prefer.
Mon Dieu.
No, sure, officer. No.
Oh, look. It's the cop who turned me into a bad person.
A lorry abandoned. The woman is still hunched over the railing, her head swaying to the music, her eyes looking at nothing in particular.
Huh? What is it? What do you want?
Everything's still cool here, officer. Everything's still cool here, officer.
Start with a little compliment.
Oh.
After all this,
An investment? What kind of investment? I guess it can't be any riskier than speculating in exotic derivatives. How much are we talking about here? 10 real is a bargain for that kind of investment. You got it, my man.